the top somehow. I'll keep moving till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. somehow. That I will achieve, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, you are looking for me and anxiously awaiting me, and I am eternally grateful for your patience. But I want to first of all humbly apologize for this very, very late start. And I can tell you, my Straight Talk family, the devil is a liar, because something wanted to prevent me from speaking with my Straight Talk family tonight. And I said, none of that at all, my Straight Talk family. I'm not going to have any of that whatsoever. So here's what, my Straight Talk family. Here's what, my Straight Talk family. I am with you all the time, and I'll be always with you. If you just give me 1 second, I will get right back with you again, my Straight Talk family. Because I notice I've lost my screen. I don't know if I'm still with you. Yes, but my man of business would tell me that. But I want to apologize. I really must apologize, my Straight Talk family, for not being, or for my tardy start tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I want to say to you, my Straight Talk family, that all is well. For those who think I am muzzled, it's very hard to muzzle me, because only Almighty God can do that. And I'm not going to really tolerate that at all, my Straight Talk family. I am trying to get my screen up and running, because your screen is running, but my screen is not up and running, and I'll have to do something about that. But I want to apologize in the meantime, my Straight Talk family, as I'll get my own screen up and running, else I would be in trouble tonight if I don't get my screen up and running. What's gone wrong with my screen? I'm asking myself. I'm talking to myself here. Something has gone wrong with me right here in Studio One. And what's gone wrong, I'll tell you in a moment. But I know you are seeing me live, but I need to see my screen so I can really pilot the ship tonight, pilot the discussion tonight, so I can be all right. Yes, my Straight Talk family, I am with you 100%. And again, I do apologize. I do humbly apologize for my late start tonight due to a technical difficulty here in Studio One, the only studio nonetheless, my Straight Talk family. And I won't really tarry, I won't waste much time, but to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, good night to the entire Caribbean region, good night to the world, because we are on the World Wide Web, and for those in the diaspora in particular, I say greetings to those who are logged on to the Ian Patches or Straight Talk with Ian Patches Live page on YouTube and on Facebook as well. I say welcome, and I can't stop saying I do apologize for this very, very late start tonight. And I was wondering, what was I going to say to my people if I did not come and have a word with you tonight? But I'll give you back the time. I can assure you I'll give you back time, my Straight Talk family. But I want to welcome you to this another edition of Straight Talk. For the first timers, it's a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interests, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have this forum to express yourselves freely. And in the process, my Straight Talk family, let us strive to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that number one and enviable position as being one of the freest countries, if not the freest country in the entire world. My name is Ian Patches Libert for the first timers, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. My Straight Talk family, on this program, what we do is we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. Just like you, I have obligations. And one of my major, if not the major obligation I have is to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. Nothing is watered down in any way, whether by omission or exaggeration, to make it interesting. That's not how we do it here on Straight Talk. I consider it my duty to always present the unvarnished truth about governance in my country as a stickler of continuous improvement. Let's start on a solemn note tonight, my Straight Talk family. And the Federation, woke up this morning having received the sad news of the passing of its fourth Governor General, Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton. So Tapley was the youngest and I believe the longest serving Attorney General in St. Kitts and Nevis. And my Straight Talk family, he has left a legacy. So Tapley has left a legacy of a man who has walked with kings but never lost the common touch. A wise man was Sir Tapley, filled with integrity and always noted for his humility. I do extend sincere condolences, beg your pardon, on your behalf and my own behalf to his sister, Greta Foreman, and the entire O'Loughlin family, and pray that the soul of Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton would rest in eternal peace. I learned tonight as well of the passing of one Warrington Liburd of Keon, is the son of Fiona Liburd, my good family. I think she now carries Brown, I believe, Mrs. Brown, the brother of Seymour Liburd, and we extend condolences to the entire family. I understand his homegoing service would be at the Keon Church of God this coming Saturday at 1 p.m. And there may be other families that have lost loved ones, and I'm unaware of their tragedy. Thus, for those who fall in that category, I also extend profound sympathy. I always like to remind you, however, that we can say anything, but Jimmy Cliff had a song, or has a song, that goes something like this: who feels it knows it. So you who feel the pain of a great loss know it. So we can say anything to you, especially when someone is close to you. And I always like to pass this on because someone told me when my own mother died that death is a process. So I always like to pass that on to others, because to me it was rather comforting when I heard those words, death is a process. And I have titled my short dissertation tonight, for those who follow Straight Talk, And I want to implore you to share the link when you get it. Because we need to get truth coming out from St. Kitts and Nevis. We are a religious people. We are a holy people. Let's try to promote the truth. And I have titled my short dissertation tonight, Crime, Poverty, Health, and Dr. Drew Cannot Be Separated. I repeat that. Crime, poverty, health, and Dr. Drew cannot be separated. Now, 10 and 3/4 months ago, I'm almost certain that none of us would have predicted that Dr. Terence Michael Drew would become the 4th Prime Minister of our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The only reference point to Dr. Drew came months before our last general elections or on the 5th of August 2022, when he was elected as leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party in November of 2021. To some in the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, till today, it is still not a good reference point, as well-known activist, now turned ambassador, Larry Alonzo Denville Vaughan, declared back then that the election result showing Dr. Drew as winner was null and void. Now, he's my cousin, Larry, opined back then that the party election results were contrary to its constitution. In his Facebook posts, Larry wrote back then, my straight dog family, Larry wrote back then, so the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party broke its brand spanking new constitution. Its brand spanking new constitution, my straight dog family. Let me get that on and provide the evidence for you. This is what he said. Larry wrote, so the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party broke its brand spanking new constitution today on its first use. Its new leader was unconstitutionally elected. Larry went on to say, let's talk the language, my straight dog family. Some believe that they have the skill to explain any wrong and make it right. So explain this one to me. Article 11.2 of the Labour Party's unclear constitution says, decisions of the National Conference shall be made by simple majority of those delegates, present and voting. And he went on further to explain it again, my straight dog family. And Larry said this. He went on to explain it further by saying this, my straight dog family. I want to get that straight for you so you can see for yourself, my straight dog family. He went on further and he outlined that the facts that 412 persons voted, and correctly outlined that a simple majority of 412 is 207. So he went on, today's votes, Dr. Drew 184, Maynard 153, Hanley 70, and rejected votes were 5. And then he rightly stated there was no winner by simple majority. There was need for another round of voting. And that's what Larry Vaughan said to the world on his Facebook page. Now, that anomaly is no doubt settled, as Larry was appointed by Drew, the same Dr. Drew, as ambassador. And since then, he has been given the opportunity several times to trot around the globe with Dr. Drew at the taxpayers' expense. But 10 3/4 months ago, no one was speaking about crime and violence. Instead, we were reflecting upon our successful management of the COVID-19 pandemic that negatively impacted our tourism-dependent economy. Lest we forget, we kept domestic infections here in St. Kitts Nevis to the lowest in the entire Western Hemisphere. But then up came the snake from across the Narrows. Kingmaker, he called himself, and prematurely gave away a government to the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party in the name of Fair Share for Nevis. My stray dog family, 10 3/4 months thereafter, he has not received 1 cent more than he got from then Prime Minister Harris under the unity arrangement that most Kittitians and Nevisians voted for back in 2015, my stray dog family. But he pretends that all is well because the Nevis Island administration under this snake, my stray dog family, the Nevis Island administration under this snake is on the verge of bankruptcy, so he can only patronize the government from the opposition benches. And he says things like this, my street dog family.
You asked about fair share. Well, that, of course, continues to be an issue. I mentioned Prime Minister Drew. Thus far, he has been a man of his word. Thus far, in terms of our discussions and the issues, he has responded positively. But we look forward to a good working relationship with the federal government.
Yes, looks forward to a good working relationship with the federal government, is his words. But even the disgraced Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs hails the lack of opposition in the parliament today. He said this, my stray dog family.
There's a slightly different dynamic because the opposition happens to be made up of members of the NIA.
Yes. Who would believe, my stray dog family, that 10 3/4 months following the election of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, led by Dr. Drew, that our country, where peace abounds, would suddenly be listed in the top 10 most dangerous countries in the world? Who would believe this, my stray dog family?
The most dangerous places to travel to for 2023, and this is based on Statista.com, coming in at number 9. And I would never imagine this island to be number 9 for murder rates, but it's St. Kitts and Nevis.
Who could imagine that? But my stray dog family, before we go further into detail with our dissertation tonight, let us first look at our usual observations in review. And this is a time when we highlight the issues of today. We do some reflection, we ask some questions, and what can be expected, for example, what has changed, and what new we have learned as a people. And my first observation, my straight dog family, I learned that work has just begun on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum. Yes, work has begun on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum, my straight dog family. One can see from the scaffolding mounted around the house in which Premier Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw lived, my Straight Dog family. One can see that work has actually begun at that residence. But the billboard is what caught my attention, my Straight Dog family. The billboard is what caught my attention, as I said before. The billboard on this project caught my attention. And there's that billboard, my Straight Dog family. And I asked the question, was there another breach of the Procurement and Contract Administration Act, CAP 23.36? I asked the question because there is no mention whatsoever of the Public Works Department. But the Act clearly states that the Director of Public Works shall be the procurement officer for works, heavy equipment and tools, and architectural engineering and surveying services. The Public Works Department is also the technical arm of the government. So I asked as well, has the Prime Minister's office as coordinating agency usurped the authority of the Director of the Public Works? Look at the billboard for yourselves, my Straight Dog family. It says, coordinating agency, Prime Minister's office, architect and project manager, Williams Architecture, general contractor, Lennox Warner and Partner, landscape architect, Dream World Designs, engineers, Jenkins Construction, and land surveyor, Calvin Esdale. Now, my Straight Dog family, that brings me back to the point as well as it relates to procurement. And we recall when the government got into office how this disgraced AG said all sorts of things that he will do and what he won't do. He said this, though, about procurement.
Procurement Act has been breached left, right, and center. I've seen one contract, no procurement. The contracts that I spoke about in my press release, no procurement. People need to know these things because it's their money. The treasury is not my money, it's not your money, it's everybody who pays taxes. So we are custodians of the people's money, so we have to protect it.
So the country needs to know whether this R.L. Bradshaw Museum, whether there was a tender process according to the Procurement Act, and whether the Office of the Prime Minister has replaced the Public Works Department. These are things we would like to know, because methods of procurement are very clear. There can be competitive seal bids, competitive seal proposals, a sole source procurement. Is this a sole source procurement, or is this a labor source procurement? Is it an emergency procurement? What are the competitive procurements? So we asked the question, was the Procurement Act breached one more time by Dr. Drew? Remember what he did at the hospital in terms of the security there, my Straight Dog family. But these are questions we will continue to ask. And you too, when you hear them here, you ask the questions, because these issues are verified before they come to the fore. My Straight Dog family, I also want, on my second observation, just to congratulate my brother, a friend rather, who is like a brother, Rustam Southwell, who the news reported today that he is selected to shortly become the Chancellor. Let me get that information correct. Trying to find out my Straight Dog family. Rustam Southwell as Chancellor of the university there in Canada. I'll get it right. I know it off my top. I just want to find it so I can give you accurate information, my Straight Dog family. I always try to do that, ensure that you have accurate information. And Rustam has been toiling in the vineyards over there in Canada, in particular, supportive of the black business movement. But a Dalhousie media release announced Rustam Southwell as Chancellor to be of the university, and he shall become the university's 9th Chancellor. So, congratulations to a son of the soil, Rustam Southwell. And as a Chancellor plays a very important, although ceremonial and ambassadorial role in the life of any university, as they oversee the convocation ceremonies and serve as a member of the Board of Governors and advocate for the university across the province, across the region, and across the country. So we do congratulate Rustam Southwell on his appointment that was approved by the Dalhousie Board of Governors at its June 27th meeting just a few days ago. But those are my observations in review for tonight, my Straight Dog family. And as time is of the essence, I will move right into my titled short dissertation. As I said tonight, crime, poverty, health, and Dr. Joe cannot be separated. As I asked before, who would believe, my Straight Dog family, that 10 3/4 months following the election of the St. Kitts Nevis led Labour Party led by Dr. Joe, our country, where peace abounds, suddenly finds itself listed in the top 10 most dangerous countries in the world? Yes, if you don't believe it, if you missed it, this is what was reported, my Straight Talk, sadly, about my country getting back on this dubious list of most dangerous countries, my Straight Talk family.
The most dangerous places to travel to for 2023, and this is based on Statista.com. Coming in at number 9, and I would never imagine this island to be number 9 for murder rates, but it's St. Kitts and Nevis.
And that's what Dr. Drew has done for our country. In 2022, he inherited a country with crime and violence on the down low. And he himself acknowledged that. He himself acknowledged that, my Straight Dog family. We always bring you the evidence.
We are happy that crime statistics have continued to be at an all-time low, particularly in terms of gang-related homicides. The Ministry of National Security has set as a target the downward trend in homicide from the previous 15-year low of 10 to a single digit. A target is also set for improving the major crime detection rate by 15%.
Could you imagine that, my Straight Dog family? Dr. Drew even set a target to reduce homicides from the 15-year-old low, which he inherited, of 10 homicides to single digits. But be advised that, in fact, Dr. Drew inherited single digits. Because in August 2022, when he assumed office as Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, there were two homicides, which he increased by 8 to 10 homicides at the end of December 2022. So he in fact inherited single digits. But homicides in the first 6 months of 2023 have jumped to 19, 18 of which are gun related. With that sudden spike in homicides in 6 months and achieving the dubious accolade of being the 9th most dangerous country in the world, it would be difficult to separate Dr. Drew from the raging crime in St. Kitts Nevis. So too, we cannot separate Dr. Drew from our struggling economy in St. Kitts and Nevis. And he has not found one formula to date to stimulate our economy. Thousands of persons he has deprived of their social assistance monies, which, ironically, on the campaign trail, he had promised to increase it. But he continues to turn a deaf ear to the cries of these poor, suffering people in our midst. Heartless, we must call him, my Street Talk family, because many are crying out for help, Dr. Joe.
It is not EASY. It is not easy. And do not be fooled. Do not let no nice show and no nice thing fool you. The $500 from the PAP, it is so helpful. I wish I could triple it up. It's so helpful. It come in so handy.
My Street Talk family, neither can we separate Dr. Drew from the declining health situation in the Federation. In December 2021, the Parliament approved capital expenditure for an MRI machine in the Team Unity Administration's budget estimates for 2022, my Straight Dog family. And we can see the estimates there for 2022, some $7 million was budgeted for this new MRI machine, my Straight Dog family. We always bring you the facts. $5 million to come from revenue was already approved before Drew came to office. But since September last year, Dr. Drew told the Federation that he has ordered a new modern MRI machine, my Straight Dog family, for the JN France General Hospital. He said this some 9 months ago.
Your government is now just 1 month old, and we have been working extremely hard to fulfill the pledges and the covenant we have made with you. A new modern MRI has been ordered for the JNF General Hospital.
9 months have gone, just gone by, but not one sight of this new MRI machine. Are we therefore to expect another mama guy from Dr. Drew? Are we to expect another act of deception from Dr. Drew? Dr. Drew deceived the country with the 15 new dialysis machines. How could we forget this? Dr. Drew told the country in April that he procured new dialysis machines. These are not my words, they are his words. This is what he said.
I've also procured new dialysis machines because at the hospital we needed new dialysis machines. As you know, when we got there, we thought that there was not enough. As a medical doctor, I know that. And so we have procured. And so when they come in, I'll give the names and so forth of those who would have sourced them for us and so forth. The dialysis machines.
That's what he said. 1 month later, in May 2023, and the very day before his fake handing over ceremony at the hospital, he said this to his hand-picked support reporters at his round table interview. This is what he said, my Straight Dog family.
I want to get into the issue of the Ministry of Health, which I'll speak to as well. We have a number of critical things that have taken place there. For example, we have new dialysis machines, about 15 of them. I'll get into that have arrived. We'll have the official presentation tomorrow.
I didn't say that. He said that. New dialysis machines have arrived. You'll have the handing over ceremony tomorrow. But weeks later, when the truth came to light, Dr. Drew was caught in his web of lies. This is what he was asked by Straight Dog family.
Mr. Prime Minister, some weeks ago, the JNF Hospital received some dialysis machines. I think it's about 15 of them, I believe. And then there has been some talk in the community that there's something wrong with these machines, that parts are missing and
Community of fake pages.
Whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, it's out there. Could you address that particular issue? What is the state of these machines? How soon will they be put into operation?
Straightforward question. But Dr. Drew's response was shocking, to say the least, my Straight Dog family. His response was shocking. Shocking response from our Prime Minister. Really, really shocking, my Straight Dog family. This is what he said.
So these machines were donated from a major hospital in Canada through one of our experts, one of our nationals who live here in the diaspora, Mr. Estridge, who is a technician, a specialized person in these. And so these machines were donated to us. These are very good machines that were donated to us by the institution that have been passed. When we got these machines, it was in the winter. And because it was in the winter, you couldn't ship them because whatever substances they have in their structure, the cold would freeze it. And so we took the decision to store them in a warm storage area. That is why they didn't come earlier. And then once spring came and the temperature went back up, that is when we decided to ship them to St. Kitts and Nevis. So they're in very good stead. We have turned them on, and the vast majority of them are in condition.
Let's Straight Dog family. He switched from new to the donation. But my Straight Dog family, 10 and 3/4 months is adequate time to assess the leadership qualities of Dr. Terence Michael Drew. And everyone is saying that he will be recorded as the worst prime minister that St. Kitts Nevis ever had. Many are saying that he would be a one-term prime minister. But ask yourselves the pertinent question, my Straight Dog family. Could we tolerate Dr. Drew and his self-acclaimed experts for 3 or more years? I hear you say, hell no. Hell no, my Straight Dog family. Breaking news, you heard them say. 2,400 houses to be constructed, only to learn that they are for the bankable persons in our communities.
It is not government buying the houses or NHC buying the houses. It's individuals buying the houses. This is the solution for persons who are bankable and can take a mortgage loan from a credit union or a bank, and they can purchase their 1-bedroom house for $111,000, a 2-bedroom for $213, and a 3-bedroom for $297.
And look, who they sent to deliver that message to poor people? Disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucien Wilkin. Couldn't they find a better messenger? Didn't they know that the National Housing Corporation was established to provide housing for the infirm and the indigent. It was established to provide houses for the poor people. So how can the National Housing Corporation enter into any contract to provide housing for only persons who are bankable and with a company that never ever built one single house? How can we tolerate a government that has no empathy for poor people in our country and failing to improve the lot of thousands of poor and needy people? Jeffrey Hanley has expelled thousands of poor and needy people from what seems to be a new social assistance college and enrolled thousands more of the older ones, he claimed, with a view that they will be graduated in 6 months or 1 year. How can we tolerate a leader who displays such repugnance and continuously insults the intelligence of our people, or the people he took an oath to serve? I listened to Dr. Drew today, and I have reconfirmed my Straight Dog family. Dr. Terence Michael Drew is a worthless, good-for-nothing leader. And I make no apologies to say that. One of his comrades asked Dr. Drew a question today. And I do not know the individual who asked the question, but I commend him for having the guts to pose this question to Dr. Drew.
I listened to on a talk show there some time ago there where a former minister was saying that the dialysis machine that were brought here is over 20-something years old. Could you please give the citizen of Stinking the surety that the dialysis machine is good and safe?
With respect to the dialysis machines, I really want to laugh. I really want to laugh. It's amazing that we are bringing improved services for health, and an ex-minister will be on some radio station spewing lies and deceit so that people might lose confidence in what we have. That is very, very sad. There are some things you should talk about as a politician or past politician. A politician who has expired in politics, whose time in politics has expired. Talk about things that make sense. How can you hit dialysis machine? As I speak today, we are now putting a team to come from Canada to do training of our people here. Talk about things that make sense. Talking about dialysis machine for 20 years and all these things. Really? That is what you're spending time talking about?
My Straight Dog family, this is not a laughing matter. And Dr. Drew has not answered the question. The good gentleman asks him to give the surety on these machines. And Dr. Drew, in his usual deceptive style, laughed away at an important question that pertains to the health, which is the wealth of the Federation. Dr. Drew, you listen to Straight Talk. So the next time when you go on the media, please tell St. Kitts and Nevis and the diaspora how old are the 15 dialysis machines you first lied about and said that they were new. Then you change your lying tongue to say that they were donated instead. Tell St. Kitts and Nevis and the diaspora, was the model of these machines one of the affected health products recalled by the government of Canada? And finally, Dr. Drew, why are these dialysis machines locked away? Locked away, my Straight Dog family. These are the answers we need from a Prime Minister who never speaks the truth. Finally, my Straight Dog family, Dr. Drew went or attended the recent CARICOM crime symposium in Trinidad and Tobago. While there he boasted that he is the only CARICOM head of government who is a trained medical doctor. And we commend him for that.
I think I'm the only trained medical doctor among the heads. And not to shift away from what you have asked, but I have studied this extensively in my years of study. But even from a medical perspective, when I hear public health, I'm thinking evidence-based.
My Stray Dog family, many are still unclear, however. What were the expected outcomes of this two-day symposium held in Trinidad and Tobago? Many have asked that question. And what actually came out of that symposium? In Trinidad and Tobago, many have opined as well that the two-day exercise was a waste of taxpayers' money. Prominent member of the opposition UNC, Dr. Rudal Munilal, expressed those very sentiments when he said this, my Stray Dog family. Well, my Stray Dog family, at least one thing we learned, that Rowley in Trinidad is transparent. The opposition asked for information and they got it. But we don't know and may never know what the cost to our treasury was. That was incurred by Dr. Drew, as transparency is not part of his lexicon. A task force is being put together according to Dr. Drew. Meanwhile, the homicides continue in our federation. Just yesterday, the country celebrated the life of an high-profile victim in the pouring rain. Alden O.J. Maynard has gone, but we will hold Dr. Drew accountable for the 19 homicides thus far for 2023. While he tries to convince us that crime is a public health issue, using an academic approach, which he calls scientific, my Stray Dog family.
I went to a symposium as the Prime Minister, and also as the Minister of National Security in Trinidad, where we sought to look at crime and violence from a public health perspective. It is a broad concept, but is a concept that has been well studied scientifically and will deliver results. As I speak, my advisor, Dr. Patrick Martin, would have met with the press to further explain what this is. And the task force has been put together for us to deal with it. An aspect of it is an all-society approach. But this time, we will apply the scientific approach to it so that we can achieve what we want to achieve.
Yes, my Stray Dog family. My Stray Dog family, I believe that I'll have to replay something for you, because Jew should not be allowed to get away. Crime, he said, is a scientific matter, but we'll get back to that. But criminal organizations are embedded in society, and as such, they use their societal connections in order to conduct their business. With the oversupply of research data available, it would be difficult to convince some people that poverty is not one of the main reasons for crime. Countries with high rates of economic deprivation tend to witness higher crime rates than other countries, since people do not have the means to secure a living in the right ways. They invest their time in criminal activities, since they are not only an easy means to get what they want, but also do not require any other prerequisite talents. The ever-increasing divide we are witnessing between the rich and the poor can also be attributed to more and more of the poor looking to crime as a means of living. My street dog family not being able to earn and sustain themselves leaves people so frustrated that they resort to illegal means to sustain themselves and their families. All in all, the wealth inequality and insufficient means, my street dog family, to acquire a living in an honest way and with no one to show them love will only drive the poor in St. Kitts Nevis towards a life of crime. When we examine the empirical data on murders in the Federation from 1990 to 2014 and from 2015 to August 2022, no academic approach can find solutions. In 1990, there was one homicide in St. Kitts and Nevis. When Simmons handed out, when Douglas took over as Prime Minister, he inherited a country that had four homicides. In 2024, he left with a high of 35. Crime and drug abuse are closely related. A person under the influence tends to indulge in criminal activities that they may not have indulged in otherwise. The lack of employment, I should say, or employment opportunities is an issue faced by developing and developed countries alike. A huge portion of the youth of today are unemployed. My straight dog family, just now, a cohort of thousands of children will believe in school. Where will we place them in a job? In parks and beaches? My straight dog family, the flawed justice system is another major contributor to crimes. You heard of the notice of discontinuance in Nevis a few weeks ago, when the DPP served the notice of continuance on the magistrate clerk. When a man was found red-handed with a gun and ammunition. Politics, victimization, the interrelation between politics and crime. Sometimes it's overlooked, or many times it's overlooked. But this is problematic as well, as many people have engaged in criminal activities while dealing with political issues. Two important things that will help in crime prevention, though, are education and instilling morals in people from their childhood. What is required, though, most of all, my straight dog family, are good role models in our leaders. But sadly, we have a leader right now we need to get rid of sooner rather than later. And the whole country agrees that crime, poverty, and Dr. Drew cannot be separated. That's my story tonight, and I'm not going to change it. I'm going to open your lines and entertain your calls and your emails. Remember, I started late, so I'll give you back your time if you so need it, my Straight Dog family. Do not worry. I have time on our hands. The numbers are 663-6672 and or 646-829, my Straight Dog family, 6672. I understand one of my soundbites did not play. If someone then just send me a WhatsApp and tell me which one that was, and I'll get it played for you. But I always like to implore you, before I open the lines, and do that in a few seconds, respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines at 9:31 and say, caller, you alive. Hello, caller?
Good night.
Yes, caller, good night.
Good night. Which one the leader you don't get rid of?
One who does not know how to lead.
Well, you're sending back up to the hospital?
Not at all, not at all. You can't send him in the hospital.
No, wait at all. He must go. No, Mr. Libert, down by Rams is the biggest courthouse. But when they see me, want to talk, especially them that come from away. And no, they did not leave think it's so hard. Things have to go up, yes. But who looking into it? Just talks. Mr. Libert, sugar gone up. What happened to people with children, small children? And the fact could have been maintained. Everybody's scrabbling now to make a living, while the ministers then joyriding. Mr. Libert, I paid my water bill last month. No a raise. Now it raised. I don't know if it's because of me. And still lacking off water? No ideas. No ideas. What about the houses them there on stream yet? What the balling for? Speak out. People must speak out. Don't afraid. Mr. Libert, 10 man in one come back yet? And Timothy used to stress out Satan why he dead. I never hear something like that. They don't have nothing to say about what's going on in the country, but they make a kind of false accusation. Timothy killed Mr. Satan. He not God. Mr. Libert, my biggest labor friend, say he going to give me a phone and say you have all kind of things to say about him. Labor cheat their way in so he could get more things. See you. Can't get back in. So, see you next week. God's be alive. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, my dear. Sounds like Alice in Wonderland, my Straight Dog family. And the lines are open. As again, I said, the numbers are 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. We started late, and I'm going to give you back the time as long as you need the time, because our conversation must not be shortened, my Straight Dog family. This message reads, my Straight Dog family, let me get this message up and run, my Straight Dog family. This message reads, Patches, the good Dr. Drew has become such a compulsive liar that he makes Dr. Douglas looks like he is in Pastor Connor's choir, reads that email. Patches, good evening to you. What is really going on down at SKNIS, reads this email. Patches, I work at government headquarters. And what I am seeing happening at SKNIS every day is not right. Jew and Labour needs to understand that the director at SKNIS do not have their best interest at heart, and he would do anything to make them look bad. Now, Patches, imagine he was big up in arms with Harris, and he was performing back then. But since Labour has taken office, he has not been doing any work. Some little boys were employed under the former administration, and he had them doing as they like. Well, now Labour is in, it has been worse. Patches, they come to work 11, 12, and 1 every day, and as 4 comes, they are through the gate, but collect a full pay every month. When they don't come, they send excessive sick leave, and they sit and do no work. The director allows it because it is not the government they support. Now, if everyone is seeing and talking about this, I hope Dr. Joe hears about it and deals with them in short order. SKNIS has gone to the dogs, and Joe needs new management there as soon as possible before they don't have to bawl for the top government media house who have them, they're doing as they pleases. Have a good night, Patches, reads that email. Very interesting observation. I can't tell the veracity. I always like to read the emails, but I trust that there are some truth in these things. Patches, a few weeks ago, I told you about a staff member at the ICT department who passed away, and Congress and his aunt did not acknowledge the passing. Now, Patches, last week, Monday, the staff member was laid to rest. And could you imagine, not even Congress, Andrew, was there to show respect. The deceased lived in Drew's constituency. Not even to pay respect he could have done. Eugene Hamilton, Sean Richards, and Drew Byron were all there. Congress's aunt came and left in a hurry, and the funeral was poorly attended by the ICT staff. And the Pierce, who is Congress's aunt, didn't make it mandatory that all staff members should attend, but instead she gave a half day, and 3/3 of the staff took the opportunity and went home. What a shame, Patches, shameful and distasteful. But Patches, the minister and the Pierce don't care because she and the deceased was good, and I believe that's where we're going to end this. Let's go back to the lines, caller. Thank you for holding your live.
Good evening, Patches.
Good evening, my brother. How art thou?
Oh, I'm feeling good now.
You are feeling
because
good?
For couple minutes I was feeling bad. I want to know if nothing gonna happen to if no punch contract no idea.
I was feeling bad too. I don't throw punches, nonetheless, right? I ride a bike. I'm a bicycle rider.
Me too.
Okay.
No, don't worry for me.
Yeah, I had some difficulties in the beginning. I'm thankful I got them sorted out, but you know.
Right. Many persons are worried, you know.
Yes, but
now let me start first, brother. I want to tell that wicked, lying, good for nothing dinosaur from Monkey Hill that the Lord gave a lying tongue, among other things. And if he show me a crab and tell me that is a crab, he's a lie Even though I'm watching it, I will tell him, no, that is a duckling. That is how loyal the man is. Nobody at all supposed to believe nothing out of the 26 letters in the alphabet. Not out of his mouth. As a matter of fact, when he talk, he sound like he got a round up lollipop in one side of his jaw. And he can't talk good. So he talking fast, like we know he coming with a lie. Now people, this man here supposed to be the Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Nevis. And hear what he said about the dialysis machine. They got 15 new machines from the hospital in Canada. The hospital donate them or give them to somebody up there, and he donate them to the country. 15 new ones. Well, if he got 15 of them, why you should say the majority of them in good condition? If they knew there should be no word majority, there should be all.
Exactly.
And then we hear what he's saying, because of the winter they could not be shipped, because the coolness of the weather could freeze whatever substance in them. If they knew what substance doing in them, he think people deaf. Are he talking to animals?
Insult our intelligence.
Right. That's why he insulting our intelligence. That man there, and he determined not to tell the truth with nothing. When he get into office, the first lie he said, the country is in red. But he still took up 14 others with himself and went up to where you came from, passage where you were working. And with the Chinese woman, up to now, none of us know what position she has in the government or in the federation. What she went to represent. And the country red. So he could afford to carry she as an extra friend or whatever it is. And then come back again and up and down the place. Well, my new name for them is the passenger airline government. Because every week they're up in the air. So anybody want them, don't ring the telephone on the ground. Go up in a plane. Go up in American jet fighters. Let them pull up alongside them and tell them somebody wants to talk to them because it's up in the sky they live in plane. That man don't have no love for nobody. That man from Monkey Hill. You're going to tell me he's a medical doctor. And he said he went away to study to train to help to save human lives. And he going to turn around and take away food out of the mouth of people who are in need of food to sustain the body. Take it away by stopping whatever benefit they were getting to help them to eat food and pay the bills. And he take with that out of people's mouth. And then he called himself a doctor. Brother, he committed what you call a crime to survival of human. Mr. Man from Monkey Hill, your popularity don't drop. So don't care what you do. Your popularity cannot be raised again. So you're coming around trying all kind of tricks, all kind of things you say you're going to do and you're going to do to build back popularity. No, brother, when you hurt people feeling in a certain way, now coming back. Because when a man disappoints a woman and he hurts she feeling, sometimes he turns that woman's mind from any kind of man. And that is how his behavior is, Patches. That man fooling, trying to fool everybody he talk to, he's a lie. Even the little common question, the caller ask him about the dialysis machine. He ain't give him an answer, you know. He come talking about that if that is what they waste in time for on talk shows. Talk shows? You think this talk show ain't done? This talk show will expose you to the whole world, let them know how dangerous and lie and wicked and good for nothing you be. That's just I'll come back. Good night, Alice, and good night, everybody who listening talk show. Straight Talk. Mr. Straight Talk, up there in America, good night. I'll be back.
Thank you very much, my Street Dog family. You know, my Street Dog family. The question asked or posed to Dr. Drew was a serious question, which he laughed at. You know, he scoffed at the question, which is an insult not only to our intelligence, but it actually tells you the level of maturity that Dr. Drew has brought to the prime ministership in this country. Because one of his comrades asked him today, and again I said I commend the good comrade for displaying the guts to pose this question. Very serious question.
I listened to on a talk show there some time ago there where a former minister was saying that the dialysis machine that were brought here is over 20-something years old. Could you please give the citizen of thinking the surety that the dialysis machine is good and safe?
With respect to the dialysis machines, I really want to laugh. I really want to laugh. It's amazing that we are bringing improved services for health, and an ex-minister will be on some radio station spewing lies and deceit so that people might lose confidence in what we have. That is very, very sad. There are some things you should talk about as a politician or past politician, a politician whose has expired in politics, whose time in politics has expired. Talk about things that make sense. How can you hit dialysis machine? As I speak today, we are now putting a team to come from Canada to do training of our people here. Talk about things that make sense. Talking about dialysis machine for 20 years and all these things. Really? That is what you're spending time talking about.
But Dr. Drew, in his usual deceptive style, laughed away an important question that pertains to the health of people. And he said that the health of the nation is the wealth of the nation. And Dr. Drew must tell the country how old are the 15 dialysis machines he first lied about when he said that they were new. Then changed his lying tongue to say that they were donated instead. Was the model of these machines one of the affected health products recalled by the government of Canada? And Drew must ask or answer as well the question, why are these dialysis machines still locked away? Hello Patches reads this email. I have written to you on a few occasions previously to inquire about the many advisors that Dr. Drew continues to appoint and who are paid out of the public funds. Patches don't straight talk conduct investigative journalism. It is now alleged that the latest appointees is political activist and mercenary Mr. Martin in the Ministry of Health. He is now raking in funds from almost every sector in government and every statutory body. He's already at Social Security and a consultant for several government ministries, being paid huge allowances left, right, and center. Where is the good governance agenda? Why should Martin be allowed such free hands to ride on the backs of the taxpayers of this country? Patches, all these scrupulous players are sucking the life out of the country. Martin was already disgraced our parliament and is now being allowed to plunder the treasury How could one man be so greedy when poor people can't get $500 from the PAP? Well, this was good governance agenda. Reads this email. This other email reads, Patches, thank you for this platform to discuss the problems we are seeing in this country. It's almost a year now. Can you tell me of any new projects or investment the country got since Labour in power? Dr. Drew and his smart gangster government cannot get anything done. Where is the smart hospital? Where are the smart homes? Where are the smart investments? Where are the smart solutions to crime? Where are the smart ideas to reduce the high cost of living? Where is the smart solution to poverty? Where is the smart mending of PAP? Where is the smart Bassett High School? Patches, we are having buyer's remorse in this country. All Labour is doing is giving us party and rum to drink while they fly all over the world. We missed the team unity government when our ministers were in the country and money was in our pockets. Yes, my Straight Talk family, it's 9:51. I'm going to give you back some time because I started late tonight and I must apologize for that. I was having a little technical difficulty, which I finally got sorted out, and I appeared pretty late tonight. And again, I apologize for that. So I'll give you some extra time for the time we lost. Let's go back to the lines. I'll call you live.
Hi, Patrice. How are you?
I am peaceful, my dear. Yourself?
I'm good. I was listening today with the question that they asked Jew. Mm-hmm. And he said he was laughing, saying that he hate people tell lies, you know. Mm-hmm. But I was listening to hear what he said because the caller said that you said the machine name is 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I was listening to hear if you're going to say, well, it's not true. It's 6 years or whatever.
Exactly.
But he laughed.
Exactly.
My grandmother used to say, all fools laugh at their own calamity, mark when the face cometh. And that is what happened to him. Because when those dialysis machines there, they're supposed to inspect them and they're supposed to have on a tag. To say when they inspect. And I'm sure they don't have on a tag. Mm-hmm. Every machine that they inspect supposed to have on a tag that when the surveyor come around, the health department come around, they see, well, when these machines being inspected. So he's talking nonsense. I want to hear him say, he said that you just and you're talking nonsense. Sure. But you're talking sense because the 20 years, as you say, it's true because he admitted because he can't say, well, the machine name is 6 years or whatever. He can't say it. I was feeling very disappointed because I was listening very keen when the caller asked him that question. He didn't answer the question. And all. So you continue with the program, and I'm listening. I'm behind you 100%.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward every week to hear it.
Thank you, and I look forward every week to serve you as well.
Thank you very much. You keep us in tune, and that is what happened. Talking about you wasting time. You're not wasting time because look at it. ZIZ, they put on all sort of nation on the board, on the ZIZ board, all a lot of idiots on the board, and they used to have Frank and Candid a morning tell that people could hear the views. Bradley gone on vacation, they gone on vacation. A lot of the programs have gone on vacation. Now today, before he go on the air on ZIZ, because very seldom people listen to Freedom. Before he go on the air and talk about, tell people on ZIZ, that's the nation station, he gone on Freedom. So anyway, we'll talk again.
Thanks always for your input, my dear, your interventions. And you are so correct, every time you hear him speak, you hear him use words, he said, and so forth, and so forth, He don't tell you what he's saying, and so forth, and so forth. And he's plotting his lies as he go along. Caller, thank you for holding your live.
Yeah, that is, man, you laughing, man. You repeating, he's so forth, so forth?
Yes, he's so forth. That's what he's out. He's amazing, He's talking and he said, and so forth, and so forth. So forth what?
I wonder if he got to write on paper what he's saying, if he will use the word so forth.
So forth and so forth.
Well, let me big up that lady that called before me, miss. I always admire you because you're a warrior soldier. You are not afraid to speak out as your conscience guide you. Thank you very much for helping us to fight the battle. Now, Patty, you see, you talked about Mr. Bratcher's house going to turn into a museum, and this cafe around there, and you see the names that you call involved in that?
That is true.
Yeah, all labor, yes, man.
That is true.
I don't know for one of them from your tongue. I don't know, but something got to be sweet in the dinosaur from Monkey Hill grinning, the dinosaur grinning from ear to ear. When you see a dinosaur walking, all you can see up in his face, his teeth. And that is every little thing he grin. Now, that man, their policy is that as long as you're not supporting labor, and he know that you're not supporting labor, you're not supposed to work in St. Kitts. He can victimize you and fire you. That is the boy from Monkey Hill. His policy. Look around and you see all the people who are taking on to around him. They are big labor supporters, whether they mean it from the heart yes or not. But they're giving him the impression that that's what they are. And that is bad. Joe, that is wrong. That can bring you down faster. You know you got to come out of office, so you're trying now to raise up the government money, all the money in the treasury. Every minute you're going from plane. You're going to start this program, nothing doing. You're going to start that day, nothing doing. Coming load the talks on the radio, telling more lies. You need to stop it, man. Help come and fix the water. Kenyan people have been out of water for years. When Patches Loibod were in there, Patches were working hard. Patches went over saddlers. And Patches increased the size of pipe over saddlers so that people over there can get water. More than what they were getting. And you come on now, you and your canvas come on, talking about, you're going to do this for water after 10 months, and I ain't doing nothing. Just walking up and down the place, refuse to continue any program that was in the pipeline from the farm administration, which is team unity. You want to say you're doing things different. You really doing things different because you're doing wrong thing, mashing up this and mashing up that. Come on, boy. Come on. You say you're going to go. No, you don't start to block down the grammar school building. You're talking about you're looking for tenders. But tenders supposed to come before you start to pong down. And what tenders you talking about? You can cost the government more money to break down that and build back anything you what you say you're going to do. Look how foolish you acting. The ground up there where the new school was supposed to build is already cleared and ready to just dig foundation and pour concrete and go up. You ain't got to break down and pen a truck to carry nothing over solid waste. Consider all of them kind of money you're wasting, all because you refuse to do what the immunity they left there. And what the lady just speak about, Patches, Frank and Candy, the program, it started under Team Unity government, and a Team Unity supporter, he was the man who started it, and they don't want to, he don't want to say carrying on anything in the government service that Team Unity started. Everything dead, kill, turn with. He don't want nothing like that up on ZZ. and Dick said the government radio station. Well, the other one where he went, I don't know the reason why he went there. Maybe he might reach more people by power. I don't know. Certain places. But he running from the government radio station. And I believe he killed Franklin Candy because his special advisor was invited guest on that Franklin Candid program on one morning. Me and he had it out. When I tell him how dangerous and loyal he is, and he, who was supposed to enforce the law, he break the law, and he want to cut across me with him out talking hard. And I tell him, listen, I pay my money to talk here, and I ain't gonna hush. And when I done leg a I got to separate him, I shut it down, and from that, Franklin Candid, case until he fade away now. We're done with. So people, as long as you say you're labor, he will let you work. But don't go against your conscience, people. The law do not like it. Let your conscience be your dictator. This is time for everybody now to speak out. Let him know that this country was not given to him. This country was given to all citizens who born here and who apply for citizenship in the correct way. But he acting like it's his and want people to afraid him. But me ain't afraid you. My name is Radical Culture, and I'm afraid you. I ain't walking, and if I walking for government, I will tell you what I got to say. Because I learned my rights that I never know. While I was in Shinket, I learned them out in America. And they're going to always be with me. Somebody else coming in. Jam down. Good night, sir. I'll be back patches if nobody wants to use up the time.
Thank you for your
thank you.
contribution. It's time, Patches, the king of lies, was on his favorite radio station today, talking a whole heap of nonsense, as he always does, and not answering questions. Someone called into the program and asked about the dialysis machines. The caller said he heard it on a talk show that the dialysis machines are over 20 years old. Instead of answering the question, he started to talk about the former minister. The caller didn't mention anything about hearing it from a former minister. The caller said he heard it on a talk show. Why is this Prime Minister keep avoiding important questions like the number of passports issued by him and truth about the dialysis machines and how old they are? This guy seems to be worse than Douglas when it comes to telling the truth. These so-called journalists, beg your pardon, news reporters and talk show hosts seem to be afraid to ask serious questions. I am disappointed with the host of the program. The host should have followed up with the caller's question and asked, well, how old are the dialysis machines? If not 20 years, how much? Should have asked. Read this email. And that's a good point, you know. You should have asked. If they're not 20 years, then tell us how old are they? Corruption. Who did the procurement for the Bradshaw Museum? It's a hoax. Labour is rewarding their supporters, companies with big money contracts, but they wanted to attack team unity. Same Jamo pants. They are breaking the laws. The country is going down a dangerous path. Patches, I can assure you that these things will not go on very long. Drew is a corrupt and wicked Prime Minister. The opposition needs to rise up and challenge the Labour government's greedy, corrupt ministers we have in Labour. Reads this email. I'll dispense of the email as my Street Dog family so we can get them out. Instead of using Bradshaw's home as a museum, I think it would have been more fitting to be used as the Prime Minister's residence. The best location for the museum is at North Independence Square if they really want to do something. Reads this other email. Why does Prime Minister Drew love media so? He was on Issues Today with Jamie from 1:30 to speak on important issues, only to host a press conference at 3 p.m. to say the same thing. Where are your advisors? You need some advice. Reads this other email. Good evening, Mr. Liebert. I want to know if Dr. Drew has the ethics to undo the wrongs that were meted out to the Sandy Pointer regarding the JNF hospital as he did for Natter and Larry Vaughan. That young man was done a gross injustice, and Dr. Drew himself expressed his dissatisfaction about the ordeal while in opposition. But now his Prime Minister is singing a different tune. Ask Dr. Drew, where had all the sentiments expressed, and why now he's asking advisors how to handle the situation when before he was PAM he knew how to rectify the matter. There must be justice for this man. He has endured a great injustice, and justice must be served, reads this other email. I'll dispense of the emails. It's the saddest thing witnessed in all my life. The Premier of Nevis allowed his ego to hijack his intelligence. He bit the hand that fed him and painted himself into a corner. Now the Prime Minister will have him eaten out of his hand for the next 4 years, to the detriment of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Even if he wants to pretend to oppose, his position has been severely compromised. I almost want to feel sorry for him, but when I think of this situation, only gut-wrenching disappointment comes, reads this other email. And I'll take this for my final email tonight. Drew said today that he has now fully revamped the peace program. As of next week, it will be fully intact. People will quit on you. You must get up every day and make sure you don't quit on yourself, reads this other email. Well, those are the emails for tonight, my Straight Talk family. I think I've read all of them. It's now 10:06. I'll give you a few more minutes to make up for the time we lost tonight, my Straight Dog family. And if you joined me late, tonight we looked at the dissertation, which I titled Crime, Poverty, Health, and Dr. Drew Cannot Be Separated. And my Straight Talk family, I raised the point that 10 3/4 months ago, I'm almost certain that none of us would have predicted that Dr. Terence Michael Drew would have become the 4th Prime Minister of our beloved country of St. Kitts and Nevis. Because his only reference point came months before our last general elections on the 5th of August, when he was elected as leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party in November of 2021. And my Straight Talk family declared back then that the election result showing Dr. Drew as winner was null and void. But let's go to the lines and say, caller, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
How are you? Good night. Sounds like the Bible man. Why are you so...
yes, the Bible man in thing.
Why are you sounding...
Mr. Liebert?
Yes, my Lord.
God is good.
All the time.
Mr. Liebert, the Lord is good.
All the time is good.
And I will say it and say it. Listen, the word of God. God takes 6 days to make And the 7th day, he rest. And Mr. Libert, we got to thank God. I always saying it. Because if we was under the law, this whole world would have done wipe out. But thanks be to God that God sent Jesus Christ and the cross of Calvary to die for the human race, to die for the Gentiles. We are Gentile dog. And because of Jesus Christ went there to save us from sin. He said, for the wages of sin is death.
Gift of God.
But the gift of God is eternal life to Jesus Christ our Lord.
True.
Mr. Liber, the word of God said, sin is a report, but righteousness exalts the nation. Mr. Liber, one man in the Old Testament, sinner, his name is Achan, but he was wiped out. The whole family was wiped out just because he was under the law. But we have to give God thanks and praise because God is a good God.
Yes.
Mr. Liber, I am not interested what people can say or do. And my God can supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. To Philippians 4:19. So I but have a pleasant night. And may the good Lord bless you and keep you. And I want to say tonight, the last passage scripture I am going to leave here. Psalm 41. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor in the time of trouble. The Lord shall deliver him. Thank you, Mr. Libert. Have a pleasant night.
Thank you very much. John James, the Bible man. I always look forward for your verses from the good book, the Bible. Always come with very interesting passages of scripture. And I can tell you, I love the Psalms. I can read the book of Psalms, any book in Psalms, every day, all day. And as we wind down tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, for those in particular who joined me late, I myself joined you late, for which I apologize. I almost thought that I was going to miss this program tonight. But God is an awesome God. I could not imagine not speaking to you before the weekend. I even pondered about putting the show, suspending the show until tomorrow night. And I said, hell no. God is an awesome God. We will have this show tonight. So I want to thank those of you who waited on me. Because on this program, we do provide the truth. One thing I can assure you on this program, on Straight Talk, we do not vanish the truth. The truth at times upsets, it's upsetting. And I can only apologize, but all I can do and will do at all times is to speak the truth as straight dog family. Because only the truth can set us free. As your host, I remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. Nothing is watered down in any way, whether by omission or exaggeration, to make it more interesting. I consider it my duty to always present the unvarnished truth about governance in my country, and I'll remain a stickler of continuous improvement. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, that is a pleasant good evening to you. How are you doing?
I am peaceful, my dear. Yourself?
I am peaceful and fine.
I can see your dimples smiling. I can see them from a distance.
I feel that man they were put there. So he's a prime minister. I just listened to him at times he was on Freedom Radio. That is the same we ever get to go into a prime minister. And I listened to him. And the thing what he was talking, I said no. He cannot talk in them things there and going into be a prime minister. And I want the nation to know, especially Nevis Sharon. I want them to stay away from that man there because I see that he was going to be worse than Douglas. And I want them, if they ever put in that man there, they is going to regret. And see now, we party wonderful lawyer, everything that man there said is a abomination unto this nation, and I think it's a Nevis. The man ain't ready yet. He's too loyal. He don't speak the truth at all. When he said in the lie, when you could watch it up and like when Hada is on the mud, that man there, I've been warning the nation, but nobody did listen to me. Keep away from that man there because he ain't ready that he's going to bring down this country. And see, it really happened. It happened to you. So, we don't have to avoid it until when we could do better to get in the other man out of the place where we are here already yet. But you have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well, my dear. Always good to hear you. Always good to hear you.
Yes, sometimes I just can't get you at all. I just can't get you. I try all over, I just can't get you.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy you did tonight, though. Happy you did tonight.
Yes, I try get you. You have a blessed night.
Have a blessed night as well, my dear Straight Talk family. And, you know, you said something that we'll have to abide with him. But for how long can we really tolerate this
Hello?
lie? Yes, you're live.
Ready?
You're live, my dear brother.
Yeah, okay. This is it, touches. This is drop out. Dimples drop out. The dimple them drop off.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm speaking to all of Straight Talk families. Everyone who are listening. Let me give everybody an advice. A good leader will lead from the front. And the followers of a good leader will be much more than a bad leader. A bad leader will lead from the back. And that is what that man from Monkey Hill named Terrence Joe is doing. Now look at him as a leader. His attorney general commit a crime. We all know what the crime is all about. With that social security matter. And he lose the case. And before he, Joe as a leader, discipline the man and tell him, listen, no, you cannot be attorney general, the head of the justice system, and you breaking the law. You cannot be doing that. You're setting a bad example for other lawyers to do. So before he discipline him, he can down in the wrong and have him there as one of his smart experts. So look at that, people. What kind of leader could you be doing that? And then his special advisor, everybody knows his record. And he has his special advisor. What can somebody who break the law, who's supposed to uphold the law, enforce the law, but break the law, what advice can they give someone to be beneficial and profitable and go forward when they have a nasty, dirty, bad record behind them? So people, do not expect this country to go any better with that man Terrence Joe at the top as the Prime Minister. It's an offside goal he scored to say he win the election. They did not win the election fair. They did not. And if an angel has to come out of heaven and tell the whole world what happened, everybody will hold them out, open them out and say, oh my God, I know when that happened. So people, please, do not be deceived no more by him and neither the snake across Nevis. That snake over there. He stopped talking about fair share now. Stop talking about it because he know he ain't get no fair share yet. And he forget what he said, that the best thing ever happened to Nevis is on the team unity. Because what Nevis has gotten from team unity, they never get it all the years Nevis there attached to this government. And now, he's afraid now to open the mouth and ask for his fair share, and he ain't even get one corner knock in the fair share. Because he looking company, buying company, and he's afraid to open him out to represent the people of Nevis. So people of Nevis, don't give him no chance. That's it. Thank you for tonight. If we leave to see next week, we'll come back.
Thank you as well.
And all the best to your patches. You keep looking up and watch around you.
Thank you.
Movie said trust no cloud.
Thank you. Thanks for the guidance, my brother. Thanks for the support. You have yourself a wonderful weekend as well.
Right.
Yes, my Straight Dog family, I think that's the way we're going to do it. I believe I gave you back your time, restituted. Is that the right word? I'm trying to find a word for it, my Straight Dog family. But as I asked before, my Straight Dog family, and my title short dissertation, Crime, Poverty, Health, and Dr. Drew cannot be separated. Who would believe that 10 3/4 months following the election of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, led by Dr. Drew, our country, where peace abounds, would suddenly be listed in the top 10 most dangerous countries in the world.
The most dangerous places to travel to for 2023, and this is based on Statista.com. Coming in at number 9, and I would never imagine this island to be number 9 for murder rates, but it's St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes, my Straight Dog family. We've been on the charts before. And now we are back on the charts because of Drew. But in 2022, he inherited a country with crime and violence on the down low, which he himself acknowledged. He said this, my Straight Dog family.
We are happy that crime statistics have continued to be at an all-time low, particularly in terms of gang-related homicides. The Ministry of National Security has set as a target the downward trend in homicide from the previous 15-year low of 10 to a single digit. A target is also set for improving the major crime detection rate by 15%.
He sets a target to get it back to single digits. He got the button when we were at 2 homicides. But in the first 6 months of this year, he has 19 homicides, 18 of which are gun-related, beg your pardon. With that sudden spike in homicides in 6 months and achieving the dubious accolade of the 9th most dangerous country in the world, it must be difficult to separate Dr. Drew from the raging crime in St. Kitts and Nevis. So too, we cannot separate Dr. Drew from our struggling economy in St. Kitts and Nevis, and he has found not one formula to stimulate the economy. The cost of living continues to rise. There's no water, no reliable electricity, my Straight Dog family. Thousands of persons have been deprived of their social assistance monies, my Straight Dog family. Neither can we separate Dr. Drew from the declining health situation in the Federation. Where is the MRI machine that was approved under the Team Unity Administration in its budget, tabled and approved in December 2021? $7 million in the budget was approved. Where's the machine? Since last year, he announced he was getting the machine. 9 months have gone by, but no sight of the MRI machine. Are we to expect another mammogram from Dr. Drew? Are we to expect another act of deception from Dr. Drew as he deceived us with those 50 new dialysis machines which he said were coming and had arrived in the country? Not me. He said this. He said 50 new machines. Listen to him.
I want to get into the issue of the Ministry of Health, which I'll speak to as well. We have a number of critical things that have taken place there. For example, we have new dialysis machines, about 15 of them. I'll get into that have arrived. We'll have the official presentation tomorrow.
Yes. Didn't he knew the machines were old? Then why was he saying that 50 new machines have arrived and the presentation would be tomorrow? But then he got caught. He got caught, my straight dog family, in his web of lies.
Mr. Prime Minister, some weeks ago, the JNF Hospital received some dialysis machines. I think it's about 15 of them, I believe. And then there has been some talk in the community that there's something wrong with these machines, that parts are missing and
community of fake pages.
Or fake pages, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, it's out there. Could you address that particular issue? What is the state of these machines? How soon will they be put into operation?
Straightforward question. But his response was shocking. His response was shocking. My straight dog family, would you believe a medical doctor would say this?
So these machines were donated from a major hospital in Canada through one of our experts, one of our nationals who live there in the diaspora, Mr. Estridge, who is a
technician, a specialized person in these. And so these machines were donated to us. These are very good machines that were donated to us by the institution that have been passed. When we got these machines, it was in the winter. And because it was in the winter, you couldn't ship them because whatever substances they have in their structure, the cold would freeze it. And so we took the decision to store them in a warm storage area. That is why they didn't come earlier. And then once spring came and the temperature went back up, that is when we decided to ship them to St. Kitts and Nevis. So they're in very good stead. We have turned them on, and the vast majority of them are in condition.
Sounds like a Nancy story, my Straight Dog family. That is why everyone is saying that Dr. Drew will be recorded as the worst prime minister that St. Kitts and Nevis ever had. Many are saying that he would be a one-term prime minister. But ask yourselves this pertinent question. Could we tolerate Dr. Drew for 3 or 4 more years? I hear you say, hell no, my Straight Dog family. How can we tolerate a government that has no empathy for poor people in our country and failing to improve the lot of the thousands of poor and needy people, my Straight Dog family? How can we tolerate a leader who displays such repugnance and continuously insults the intelligence of people he took an oath to serve? I deliberately did not listen to him today. Then I got a call and it told me what he said. And I went and I listened. And I reconfirmed, my Straight Dog family, that Dr. Drew is a worthless, good-for-nothing leader. Because one of his comrades asked him this question today. Straightforward question, which went like this.
I listened to on a talk show there some time ago there where a former minister was saying that the dialysis machine that were brought here is over 20-something years old. Could you please give the citizen of St. Kitts the surety that the dialysis machine is good and safe?
With respect to the dialysis machines, I really want to laugh. I really want to laugh. It's amazing that we are bringing improved services for health, and an ex-minister will be on some radio station spewing lies and deceit so that people might lose confidence in what we have. That is very sad. There are some things you should talk about as a politician or past politician, a politician whose has expired in politics, whose time in politics has expired. Talk about things that make sense. How can you hit dialysis machine? As I speak today, we are now putting a team to come from Canada to do training of our people here. Talk about things that make sense. Talking about dialysis machine for 20 years and all these things. Really? That is what you're spending time talking about?
My Straight Dog family, he laughed. And I will say, as that lady caller said earlier tonight, fools laugh at their own calamity. In the Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, it says, folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom. Dr. Drew, please tell St. Kitts and Nevis, how old are the 15 dialysis machines you first lied about and said that they were new? Then change your lying tongue to say that they were donated instead. Tell the country, was the model of these machines one of the affected health products recalled by the government of Canada? And finally, Dr. Drew, tell the country, why are these dialysis machines still locked away? My Straight Dog family, Dr. Drew has set up a task force to deal with crime. My Street Dog family, meanwhile, the homicides continue to rise in our federation. Criminal organizations, criminal gangs are normally embedded in society, and as such, they use their societal connections in order to conduct their crime activities. With an oversupply of research data, my Straight Dog family, available to us, it would be difficult to convince many persons that poverty is not one of the main reasons for crime. The ever-increasing divide between the rich and the poor can also be attributed to more and more of the poor looking to crime as a means of living, my Street Dog family. The empirical data is before us. The lack of employment opportunities is an issue faced by us here in the country of St. Kitts and Nevis. School leavers in the thousands will be looking jobs as of September this year. What are we going to do, Dr. Drew, with the unemployed youth in our country? The unfair justice system is another thing. The political victimization. My Street Dog family, these are the issues that confront us. And what is required at this time in our country are good role models in our leaders. But sadly, we have one leader called Dr. Terence Michael Drew. We need to get rid of sooner rather than later, because the whole country now agrees that crime, poverty, health, and Dr. Drew cannot be separated. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I want to apologize as I exit one more time for my late start tonight, and I hope I gave you back the time that I deprived you of. I want to thank all of you in the diaspora, in Asia, Europe, Africa, and North America. I want to thank all of you in St. Kitts and Nevis and the entire Caribbean for continuing to absorb and contribute to this show. Those of you who called, there are those of you who just listen, there are those of you who use the cloak of anonymity. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Remember, whatever your mind conceive, my Straight Talk family, that you will achieve. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. My Straight Talk family, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Be good to all whom you meet. And remember, be good to yourself as well. So until we connect on Monday, my Straight Talk family, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk, my family. Keep moving on.